Hi, this is a reflection on lesson 326 in A Course in Miracles. It says, I am forever an effect of God or from God. I am forever an effect from God. Whatever the title says. I just walked up the hill. I'm breathing heavy. I also just walked through a gaggle of teenage girls dressed up in fall, nice clothing and taking photos of each other with this beautiful fall background. It was so cool to see like young people out in nature. But I'm still choking on all the perfume. It actually was like nice if there weren't so many of them. It was just so potent. But it was a nice scent. But I really enjoyed that. It was like, oh, young people in nature. Aw. And all like in friendship and taking photos for each other. So anyway, and I'm trying to get more cardio because I'm breathing heavy going up a little hill. And this lesson, what it really talked about that struck me, there was one line in it that was like talking about how coming to the realization that like we have that same creator energy that whatever we take God to be, that's what God is. God creates. It's the source of all creation. Again, I've told you, like, I'm still trying to understand what God is for me. This concept called God. And I don't want to personify it as if it has human traits because it's not useful to me. I can feel the love energy of this concept called God without personifying it into a person. Like, and I feel like sometimes, I wasn't going to go here, but I feel like sometimes maybe that's why people take the Bible so literally and like to personify God, because it's the way that as humans we know what love can feel like is from other humans. So it's an easy way to tap into that, into love. It's like, oh, it's coming from another person. I understand that. Sometimes I think it's hard to understand love beyond human forms of love. But we can tap into that, and it's mind-blowingly expansive. It's beyond the kinds of loves that I've tapped into from the human world, human sense. So anyway, didn't even know I was going to talk about that. That's why I love these videos. But it must be the lack of oxygen. So, but anyway, the creator energy to me is love energy, because love has this expansiveness, like it grows and it can morph into other things, and it can be it like when you extend love, it multiplies. It's not like I'm giving you love and therefore, oh, now I'm out of love, I used it all up. No, when you give it, you feel it even more. So it has this exponential, expansive quality to it. And to me, that is creation energy. And by extending it, I'm actually creating more love by giving it. So anyway, but it didn't say the word love, I don't think, but it did talk about recognizing the creator within us is the same attribute that God has. Like, we are creators the same way God is. That was more along the lines of how it described it. We are creators in the same way that God is. So it made me really think, wow, I'm still working on that within myself. It's one of the biggest things I'm working on, is to not just take a back seat in my own life, but to create life, to create everything in my life as if I was in the driver's seat with love and intention. And so that's something that I still feel like I have a ways to go. I don't know how far. I think it's a lifelong journey for me. And it's one of the things that, you know how there's like a story arc to your life, and there are many. Like, you can frame things in terms of like character arcs, story arcs. Like, A to Z? Where am I on any particular path? And one of my story arcs is one from being the one that's holding back and the one that's leading the way. That's one of my story arcs and character arcs. So maybe that's why that part of the lesson resonated with me, is like being the creator in the same way God is the creator, like, and the way that God is creator is through love. And so to me, anything that isn't love does not carry that same creator energy, right? So meaning, like, to create is to build up, to manifest something out of where nothing was before. And I think humans love to do that. There's something about that. It's like why everyone's an entrepreneur and an innovator, and like all these words like get us excited. There's like excitement energy in those words, which I find interesting. Entrepreneur, innovator, creator, maker. I hear tiny footsteps. Probably a squirrel. Oh my God. The other day, it was just yesterday, I was driving and I brake for squirrels. I should get a bumper sticker. And I was braking because there was the squirrel. I thought he was going to go much faster than he did, but then upon closer inspection, he was fat. He was so roly-poly. He was getting ready for hibernation. And so I had to actually stop the car and wait for him to be like, it was so cute. Okay, I'm going to pause for a moment. Okay, so the other thing this made me think about is like, well, I think of things from different angles because it helps me like uncover more. So what is not creator energy? To me, that is consumption energy, in a sense. Like to create feels like to produce. And if you think about spectrums, there's the producer and there's the consumer. You know, if you think about roles people play and opposites and all that, it feels like the opposite of creation might be consumption. And I thought about how there's a point at which consumption does more harm than good. Let's take food. Consumption of food, enough for fueling the body. More than that becomes kind of a detriment, makes us sluggish, causes disease, all that stuff. Okay, lots of pausing to look at dogs. I am a closeted dog person. I know we can't have them, but I would if I could, but maybe I wouldn't, but maybe I would. So I'm kind of like I love other people's dogs. So anyway, I'm pausing a lot for dogs. That should be my other bumper sticker. We'll pause for dogs. We'll pause to talk to dogs. We'll break for squirrels. So fat ones. So the consumption thing really struck me because I feel it in my own damn body, right? So it's like, and I feel clarity come when I stop consuming for a while. It's like, I know I don't need all that food all the time. Our bodies were meant to be like back in our biology, you know, back in the hunter-gatherer days, like the big kill, the big meal, and then you don't eat for a while, right? And food wasn't as readily available, and we didn't have all this stuff going on that makes us want to eat our feelings. So I won't even go there, but I do feel that cleansing come when I don't participate in so much consumption. And that goes for shopping, that goes for, like I was talking about decluttering the other day, like there's so much spaciousness and clarity that comes in the absence of consumption. And I'm like, yeah, that's no coincidence that feels like more on the God / love / creation end of the spectrum of like producing and sharing, loving, growing, versus consumption, gathering, holding, contraction, disease, dis-ease in the body, dysfunction. So I just think of things in terms of opposites and spectrums, and it brings a lot of clarity to me with these lessons, because sometimes the frou-frou-ness of the language doesn't really do much for me. So I don't even know what frou-frou-ness means, but I think you understand. So I feel like how my journey back to that whole thing is like, how can I tap more into the creator energy in my life? And that feels like infusing everything with love and intention, right? Like, I feel like intention, like, be very deliberate and clear about what I want, what I like, what I'm here to do, what lights me up. Because I don't really have that idea of like, what was I put on this earth for? You know, I don't know what that is. But I've talked about this where I feel like the milestones and the light posts along that journey, that path, are the things that excite me, that make me feel love, that make me feel like I want to share that love. Because there's that producing energy behind sharing. So it's just like, those are my clues of when I'm more in the creating energy this lesson talks about versus the consumption energy, the hiding away, conserving, over consuming in whatever fashion it takes in the moment. There's just, it's so clear to me that those are that it's a spectrum, and it's questioning, like, where am I at any point, and how do I keep pushing more toward the creator side? And I think intention is a really big one, and I think I've talked about this in a lesson, like, what do I love, what do I want, what want in the nice sense of the word, as in like I'm past the point of wanting things, you know what I mean? So it's not that, it's like, but what do I want to embody? What do I want to be for other people and for myself? So what intention can I put behind that? And the fuel behind that intention is love energy, right? So I feel like that's why I wanted to just start talking about this lesson and see like what comes, because it's something that I feel like I need more of. Because it's a big struggle for me between consumption and production. This is my whole life. Production, you know, creation. And that wanting to hibernate versus like that fat squirrel, like gobbling up so I can hibernate and feel safe, versus like being out there and like flowing and putting things out into the world for other people to enjoy. And in the process, I enjoy that too. So it's just like, yeah, what is that? How can I do it more? And I feel like intention's a big one. And it's not intention in the way that I have to know what I'm doing all the time and why I'm doing it. But it's like a deep curiosity to move toward that and embody those energies of love, connection, expansion in every moment that I can. And obviously not every moment's going to be filled with that. I go through the roller coaster of all the emotions. We're meant to feel them all. So I'm not going to bypass them just because I don't like them. Not anymore anyway. And so, but it's like, how can I have more of the creation energy? Because to me, all good has come from that. All good in my life has come from when I've been in those moments. Fueling things with love and intention. So that's what this lesson brought up for me. This is our park. I'm right at like the halfway point, and I gotta Now focus on this uphill. So I'm not going to be talking anymore.